New England temple. Welcome to the show, Mr. Radheji.
Shri Radhesham, good to see you.
Radhesham. Okay. So, yeah, welcome to the show. I would really appreciate if you can help us out in understanding about the Braj Mandir. I mean, we have seen many temples, but this is the first time, at least I'm hearing about the Braj Mandir and your concept. So I would really appreciate if you can help us understanding about your concept and about the temple and what you guys do to your audience would be very helpful, please.
Sure, absolutely. So our mandir, in a sense, our mandir began over 5,000 years ago, in the night of the Ras Leela, when the ladies of Vrindavan took a pause to their household duties and to their conditional relationships, like with their husbands and their children and their parents. Not that they broke those relationships at all, but just paused those relationships to go to the forests of Vrindavan and engage in joy and dancing and singing and loving pastimes with Thakurji, with Krishna. So this is, in a sense, really the beginning of Braj Mandir. That concept of unconditional love and that relationship, that particular dharma, is very much at the heart of what we cultivate here every day. And so if that's like one place where we're rooted, another place where we're rooted is in shortly after that, the appearance of Nimbarkacharya. And Sri Nimbarkacharya came when he was 5 years old. He came and he presented not only a full understanding of the love between Krishna and Radha, and the relationship between Krishna and Radha, and the equality between Krishna and Radha, where there's no sense of superiority, there's no supreme, there's none of that. It's just unconditional, complete love. So with Nimbarkacharya's understanding of that as a 5-year-old child, and his sharing of that concept with the people around him who listen, it's a little astonishing that here we are 5,000 years later, and his teachings about how socioeconomic status shouldn't matter, and gender shouldn't matter, and there should be no restrictions, right, on entering into that space of joy and of unconditional love. So 5,000 years later, these teachings somehow are still revolutionary. We still have a lot to learn, and how to cultivate them, how to apply them practically. So these teachings really are the not just Sri Nimbarkacharya, but then the other acharyas in that lineage who came after Sri Nimbarkacharya. So this is the other place where we're rooted. So we have really the roots of the mandir are if you think of in terms of action, the ladies of Vrindavan, and that love, singing, dancing, cooking, loving, all that. So love is on one side, like one wing, and then knowledge represented through our acharyas. So we kind of with these two wings, one wing of love and one wing of knowledge. This is really where we're established. That's the real foundation of the mandir, those two spaces. And then the land for the mandir was purchased in 2008. And believe it or not, the land originally was a restaurant. The building was a restaurant. Yeah. When the building was purchased, everything inside the building was, there was complete renovation. Everything was taken out, everything was replaced. And the only feature from the original building that we kept was, at the time we didn't know why we did it, but we kept this takeout window. Like they used to sell ice cream here, right? So we've got a this place.
Ice cream is related to the Lord Krishna, and you have the milk and the butter, which is, yes. Yeah, good, sorry.
We have this ice cream window, which really the only feature from the original interior structure that we kept was the ice cream window. Everything else was replaced. And then in 2010, we were ready for the installation of our deities, Sri Radha Keshav Bihari. So So our deities do, like, the concept of unconditional love clearly is at the heart of everything we do. We look to our acharyas as if unconditional love is the solution. Then what is the formula to arrive at that solution of unconditional love? How do we do it? So our acharyas, in a sense, we could look at them as map makers, like cartographers, to help guide us to this place of unconditional love. Because how can we arrive at that surrender that the gopis had? So we look to our acharyas, and it's very clear the course of action that's being suggested is through the cultivation of humility. And then that too is such a unconditional practice. Anything that prevents us from understanding humility fully, through daily relationships, through our sadhana, through our love, slowly we can start to approach what is true humility. And what are we being humble to? Are we being humble to an ego, or humble to a tradition, or can we really, really be humble just to serving the beautiful representation of the divine in front of us, So this is what we're always striving to have a clearer understanding of, a more pure experience of. So anyways, our deities represent this concept of humility and unconditional love. And the artisan who, so the inspiration for the physical appearance of the deities came from our end. And then we were fortunate enough to find a artisan in just outside of Vrindavan, who was able to manifest the vision just beautifully. And then at the time, the Acharya of the Nimbarki tradition, Suji Maharaj, 2010 before he passed away, he gave our deities, we saw his everything. We saw his shelter in finding and learning what the names of the deities were. And so he conveyed to us the name of the deities was Sri Radhakesha Bihariji. And then there was traveling over continents and oceans, and finally they were installed here at the mandir on Akshaya Tritiya in 2010. So we just celebrated our 10th anniversary.
10th, very nice. So congratulations, and that's very nice. I know your concept is very idealistic. Every temple or every religion or every church or masjid or mosque, they talk about these things. In today's world, but it's practically, it is not possible for them to implement the unconditional love and also the surrenderness. We always say, even I probably will be talking about it, but it will be hard for me to practice them. It's easy to say, but hard to practice.
Yeah.
Before I go to the crux of that, I want to understand how you are personally pulled into this Braj Mandir project. I'm guessing you are not from this Hindu culture originally. So how are you able to get attracted, and what attracted you to get into this, and how are you able to understand this and build this and be part of it?
What a question. So I think the first place is through kripa only, Only through mercy, only through grace is the only way I've been able to to find any shelter here. It's through Radharani's grace and mercy, only that. So, but as an experience, I remember being a little kid, like 5 years old, and hearing music, you hear pop songs on the radio.
Yes.
When I would hear love songs on the radio, I would think of the divine and I would sing them in that direction. You know what I mean? So there's already something that was just in the heart, just waiting to be, like the heart was like a coconut, just kind of waiting to burst open. So it began there. And then, in the household that I grew up in, like religion was a part of it. And it was easy to see that religion caused a lot of suffering, and it caused a lot of, it could cause a lot of healing, it could, but temporary healing. Like it just seemed to create more distress and commotion. Who are these neighbors? Can we talk to these neighbors? Can we not talk to these neighbors? Can these neighbors talk to these neighbors? Where like sometimes religion would be as much of a focus as like, like how, especially in the United States right now, and all over the world, like race can be a very divisive issue, and nobody decides what race they are. We don't decide what gender we are, although that's changing. But it seemed like the experience in the household growing up was that through observing close up, very close, religion, it didn't seem like it was a all-encompassing, all-inclusive practice. It seemed like sometimes these people could be close, but these people couldn't be. So there was that. And then when I was in my 20s and heard about the Yoga Sutras, and that just rang a bell. And then not long, it was a while ago when I was in my 20s. So finding any, without finding understanding, there was it was not easy and took a lot of dedication and took a lot of searching. But then hearing about Bhakti Yoga, that really rang a bell. And then slowly over time, just committed to always learning more. Finally led me here. And when I first came here, so much of it was about reading the Bhagavad Gita for the first time. And at the end of chapter 1, where Arjuna is just overcome and throws down his bow. I think it's a heartbreaking moment, but it's also a moment, I feel like we've all had that moment, It's a very good place to relate to. So I could understand that moment, but I knew that anything after that moment, I would need a lot of guidance to even hope to understand it. And so that a friend of mine mentioned this place to me, and I looked on the schedule and they had, there's a Bhagavad Gita discourse at this place on Sundays. I worked on Sundays, so in my case, it's always been a matter of so much longing and so much waiting and a lot of patience, which was so helpful, because that act as a kiln. So when the opportunity finally came to come here and listen to the discourse, I was more than ready.
Very nice. Very nice journey. You brought in a good point. I think as a common man, I don't think, anybody would care, what religion you are or what race you are. But I think, in my view, it's purely the politics, and also some of the leaders, for their own benefit, they try to divide the people to retain their own position in either let it be in the community or in the business or in the politics. That's what I see it. Because in every religion they say God is the only one. He can be. You call as the Christ. We call as a Krishna. Another call as Allah. That's another thing. Which another topic. Paul, I can pick it up. We can pick it up another day. But I appreciate. You bringing up that and saying that everybody is equal, and also the love and affection to the God and surrender. You surrender yourself. Those are very good points. Now about the Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, which is, see, to start a temple, especially, you said it started in 2010, and you need a lot of funds. So how did you come out? It's not that easy. And also, your background is different, and then you're chosen a different path. So how were you able to pull the resources? Both the human resources and the financial resources.
Really, it is just, we at this mandir, we don't have nobody here we have no paid positions. We have a very humble donation box. Some people are monthly members and they, it's like an automatic transfer. which is
nice.
and there's some people who just out of the blue, all of a sudden there'll be this very generous donation that comes, or this donation box that we have. I wish I could show it to you. It's so humble. It's this tiny, very small like a $1 that goes in that donation box can serve so much more than it could serve in the bhakti. This $1 can serve so much greater than it can hope to serve in a material place. And not to sound idealistic about it, it's true. Like you see it happen here all the time. So there's part of it is that is our rootedness in humility. We understand when people are making any offering here to our Thakurji, to our Radharani, that it is our responsibility to treat that with so much care and so much affection, and to allow it to serve in the best way possible. So part of it is that we're very cautious in that area.
Very nice. Okay.
Which is the beauty of having a practice that's based in humility. If we were more driven towards okay, our Thakurji is opulent. Now there's a demand for, we might need, okay, it has to be the best and it's got to be diamonds and gold. We don't have that here. We have simplicity. Actually, recently, speaking of simplicity, for our Aksha Tritiya, we always do the Chandan Seva for our Thakurji, where Suradhikesh Bihari Jo and the Sakhis they'll be wearing, instead of their dresses that day, they'll wear the sandalwood paste. And there's always so many flowers, So this year we did that seva, but the skirts were made from leaves that we found in the yard.
Oh, okay.
All the flowers were from either in one case the flowers came from the front yard of a devotee, and then flowers in our own yard. So we're always looking for ways to how can we use what we have here? How can we, and when people bring things to us here, how can we utilize this with humility in the service in a way that is consistent with our
Very nice concept of using the natural resources around you rather than trying for something expensive from far away. So yes, I agree. That's very yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, our Thakurji has been adorned with beautiful garlands that come from all over, all over, many times. But our Thakurji is so humble and so steady and so simple.
In even science also people say that you're made of the 5 elements which are around you, so they alone can heal you. They have the properties to heal you. So in the medicine that's what they say. So probably as you said, you're using the resources what are available around you, and from both the economical point of view and also teaching a point to the people that yes, we can do it with whatever we have on hand, which is a good point to drive. I appreciate. And at the same time, what is the your daily routine looks like? at this Bridge Temple, sorry, Braj Mandir.
Yeah, that's good. So every day we begin with our mandir is the darshan is available from 9 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. We have Raja Bhog Arti usually between 9:45 and 10:15, right? In that place it'll happen. Everything about our practice tends to be very soft, including start and end times of things. So there's always some flexibility there. So Raja Bhog Arti is at anytime between 9:30 and 10:15. And then everything, like so many centers right now, everything's being broadcast on Facebook and some things on Zoom. So we have that as our first arti. We have a second arti, Dalvi Bela arti, that is at 4:30 in the afternoon, between 4:30 and 5. And then in the evening we have our Shayan arti at 8 o'clock. Very often in the evening there'll be a little kirtan.
Yeah, okay. So what kind of, when you do the arati, what bhajan or anything? Do you offer any, render any bhajan to the deities here, or?
Absolutely, yeah. Singing is constant here at the mandir. So in the morning we have a song, that is like if our lineage is like a river, So our morning song is like, okay, like let's kind of sing this river, beginning with Radharani and Thakurji, and then continuing on through the Sakhis, continuing on through Narada Muni, continuing on through Hansa Bhagawan, like continuing on until the present moment, until we're right here. So that's our morning arti. Afternoon arti is a beautiful song. I can't recommend highly enough. You should watch it on Facebook, definitely. That our own Jay Govindaji, he sings it. He's got a powerful voice, and so he'll sing our afternoon arti. And then evening arti is like a softer one, very beautiful. But we always sing our Yugal Maha Mantra. Our Yugal Maha Mantra would be like in the evenings, so we can sing at the end, but
sure, no issues. Okay. Yeah. I was about to ask you, do you want to do it now or you want to do it at the end? Okay, we'll do it at the end. Okay, not an issue. So, I mean, how is it? I mean, affecting? I mean, your how is your demographics of your community? I mean, is it like more of local or the original Hindus, or I mean, how is that? I mean, if you can help us out in understanding your devotee base.
Yeah. So one of our founding principles is Nimbarkacharya's concept of Vasudeva Kutunka. So the whole world is one family, and that is alive and well here. Some people are drawn to this because naturally they're expats. They were born and raised in India. Their Hindu tradition is familiar to them, and so this is they come here from that place. And then we have other people who have no experience with Hinduism, who just are longing for that, for the love, for the kirtan, for the cooking, for the prasadam, for the seva, gardening. So it is truly like such a vast cross-section of people. In the time of this COVID crisis, instead of, it's put with following the guidelines. So that's been a really interesting moment for learning for us. How can we keep the seva and adhere to the dharma of seva how can we protect the bodies, like the physical bodies of the devotees and the volunteers, but still also protect and nourish the hearts at the same time. So we came up with our solution was to, one of the solutions, one aspect was to move the altar. Another aspect was to begin delivering prasadam. So people couldn't come here for prasadam, so we would deliver all over New England. We had prasadam deliveries. We'd do the cooking downstairs, gloves, masks, all the precautions. And then we'd package up the prasadam. And that's another key cornerstone of our mandir, is there's no charge for anything. So when people come for prasadam, there's no tickets, there's no charge. People, the presence of the person's heart is the greatest donation.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cooking is prasadam is a big part, no doubt about it. I will talk to that in next session. Outside, in few minutes. You brought up, the unconditional love, those that pointed multiple times. We see many other Indian temples, or even the churches, or any other place wherever we go, not any public place where we go. I know I see those things on the walls, but when it comes to the practical things, it is little challenging because either the management has to follow a few things, so I don't know their practical problems. So how are you? We miss those things in the real world. So how Braj Mandir is achieving it, and how are you able to give the feeling? Unconditional love to the devotees coming to your temple. I would like to hear more. I'm curious about that particular point.
It is so much through experience. So it's not to say that we intend to cultivate unconditional love and it just happens. You know, that cultivation at times can be messy. That cultivation at times can have its moments of joy and its moments of challenge. But because we are so deeply committed, so you know, it could be that maybe somebody who comes from a different understanding, you know, they come here and they see like a woman performing the arti. It might be unusual for them, but there's so much joy in the moment that they find it irresistible. You know, like it melts the heart. Or like on Nimbarkacharya's appearance day, on that day, all of the sevas are done by children. So like the Abhishekam is done by children, the dressing of the deities is done by children, Kirtan is done by children, cooking done by children. Children do the entire program that day. This also, there is even, I think even the people who would like to be dogmatic, they can't help it. It's just, you know, in the presence of that much joy, we hear it all the time that people, you know, we're so rich with people's hearts here. We really are.
Very nice.
Yeah. And it's like there's a conviction at the center. So it isn't that we don't hear, that we don't receive suggestions of like, well, you shouldn't do this, or well, you shouldn't do that. Those suggestions come, but we just remain, you know, when we think of the concept of the Ashtasakis, we just try and stay firm to that concept. We think of the teachings of the Nimbarkacharya, we try and stay very firm to so much conviction around those teachings. So not to get swayed by like conditions, you know.
Yes, I mean, when you brought up that, I mean, the kids do the prayers or decorate a lot. I mean, it is not, I mean, only in other temples or even the churches, I would say only few people can go beyond certain point. I mean, they cannot get too close to the deities. I mean, as we call it the Garbhagudi, but I mean, yes. So here it looks like, I mean, even I think Hare Krishnas, I'm not sure a regular devotee is allowed to go and offer anything to the Lord Krishna. I mean, the deities. But it's a good concept. I mean, you're including, like, you're treating everybody same. Which, but yeah, I mean, sometimes, I mean, they have different rules. I mean, for their own reasons. I mean, probably. I mean, but for your concept is this, which is good. I mean, including everybody, which is nice. Coming anything special? I mean, what kind of special events do you do? I mean, Krishnastami or Annakut. I mean, there's a few places, few events are very special for Lord Krishna. So, can you help us out in understanding your special events, please, at Braj Mandir?
Absolutely. I think our main event is our Holi celebration.
Oh, okay.
Our Holi celebration usually attracts about 3,000 people, more or less. Every year it's actually more. So our Holi celebration is 3,000 people. And there's kirtan all day. There's prasadam all day. You know, and like everything else we do here, Holi is free of charge. So like the color play, free of charge. You know, the presence of the devotees, the people who come to celebrate, is all we're seeking, their association. So, and the opportunity to serve. So, Holi is so much about unity in diversity, and it's our opportunity to see it come to life at that festival. And the preparation for Holi really is about like usually about 4 weeks before the event, you know, like the preparation of all the sweets, so many volunteers involved, it's a big effort. So this year, you know, naturally it was a bit different. We couldn't have our Grand Holi the way that we usually like to celebrate it, but it'll come around again. Our other main event is Janmashtami, so that usually also attracts just about 3,000 people.
And what do you do for the Krishnastami and Janmashtami? Will you guys stay till late in the night or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, Janmashtami we have like that'll be there's several appearances of the deities, and because our Radhakesha Bihariji are so small, like you were saying earlier about like distance like what is the distance between the heart and the representation of love, right? So our Thakurji is small, so that we have to get close.
Gotcha.
We have to come very close, which is beautiful. So, like on Janmashtami, there'll be a few appearances of the deities. There'll be like the daytime dresses. There'll be kirtan, there'll be arti. And then there'll be several artis during that time. There'll also be like a Ashtasakhi arti, which is, there's 8 celebrations during the year where we have a arti that's done by 8 ladies, So Ashtasakhi arti, there's Abhishek, people will come and they'll, everyone has everybody. Since there's no tickets, then there's no like, okay, you people can come first, and the rest of you have to wait. It's just, you come in the moment when you can't resist.
Gotcha.
So everyone lines up, everyone has a chance to bathe our Thakurji and our Radharani. And Shalam is distributed lots of sweets, midnight arti, kirtan, so that's also ongoing. Oh, and you had asked about programs earlier too, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, we have three scheduled artis daily, with a couple of extra programs. On Saturdays, we have a Mangala Arti at 5:30 in the morning. Then we engage in our japa meditation. So that's like just a kind of a weekly grounding. Japa meditation is happening more than once a week, but as a group coming together with a scheduled time for it, that's on Saturday mornings. And then also on Saturday afternoons at 4:30, with just 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So at 4:30 on Saturday afternoons for the next 5 weeks, on Facebook and through Zoom, we have a really unique opportunity to serve. So, earlier, the person who represents, earlier when we were talking about the 2 wings, right? You need knowledge, but you also need action. So we're fortunate enough to have one person who has a very strong set of wings. He has a tremendous amount of knowledge and an incredible amount of, an amazing capacity for action and for seva, and embodied quality. His name is Keshav Kishore Sharan. He gives the discourses here, he grounds the understanding that we have. And so on Saturdays at 4:30, he's doing like a Dharma discourse and discussion, but via, via technology. So the people who are watching in India can write in questions, or people who ask directly, So that's been a real wonderful addition. We just started it this past week. It's only supposed to go for 6 weeks. Hoping it goes.
It will go, yes, very well, yes. I'm sure it will. I mean, with whatever you do with the good intentions and good heart, I'm sure they will. I mean, there is saying in, you do your job, rest, he will take care of it. So even in the Bhagavad Gita itself, they have mentioned it. So you do your part, and Lord Krishna will take care of the results. So let's hope for that, and that's a good point. And you brought in multiple times about the prasadam.
Yeah.
Which is good. So you also mentioned that, prasadam, you do serve for 3,000 people some days, which is a big task, or no doubt about it. Because I myself was a volunteer as an in charge for the kitchen for one of the temples here for a couple of years. So I understand the challenge, what we go through. I'm sorry?
When are you coming?
Probably, sometime in August. I do come to the Conway. There is a place called Conway in the Springfield, now the 91 and 90 intersection. I do come once in 6 months to that area. I will see next day. Yeah.
You have to come. You have to come.
I will certainly plan for that. I do come once in 6 months to that area. I will plan, and I'll come and visit you for sure. So the prasad, how are you managing it? Do you have a kind of I just said this is a restaurant, so I'm sure you should have a professional kitchen, and you need the resources like manpower, and also the know-how. There should be somebody who knows how to do these dishes, and then the financial resources. So how are you managing all these things for such a large crowd of 3,000 people and it's a special events and even Saturday, Sunday you'll have more crowd, more people coming in. And do you serve every day or is the prasadam is served every day or only on the weekends?
Prasadam, no, Prasadam is like we have a couple of other programs. We have like Sunday there's a program 4:30 Kirtan, 6 o'clock Bhagavad Gita discourse, 6:30 Arti, then Vishnu Sahasranam, then like a Raj Bhajan, then another Arti. And then Tuesday nights, there's another program, a couple of beautiful bhajans from the Nimbarki tradition, followed by Arti, followed by Hanuman Chalisa. So for those events, there'd always be like some cooking, but really, anytime somebody comes, there will be prasadam. You know, like it might even be like right now for during the week when people come for the drive-through, we have like a small box with some sweets in it that's just ready. You know, and this is where that ice cream window turns out it was the proper feature to keep a hold of because people come for prasadam, and it might be if they come in time for the arti. You know, the ice cream window opens. And they can, you know, take the arti, or the window opens and instead of, you know, ice cream, it's prasadam. It's beautiful.
Very good.
Like the cooking and like how do we find the resources and manpower and all that. We always have someone here who's certified in what here is called ServSafe.
ServSafe, yeah, I'm a ServSafe certified too.
Yeah. That foundation, that piece is taken care of. Like the technical aspect is taken care of. But after that, in terms of like the cooking, we've got a family, Arvikajji and his wife Anuji. You know, they come every week, and on Sundays they cook. And you know, before the pandemic, they'd come and they'd cook for 75 or 100 people, and now they come and they cook for maybe like 6 to 8 people. That flexibility in the, flexibility in the outcome, but a steadiness in the seva. In terms of like, where do we get the resources? The resources really come from the devotees, constantly, Actually, just the other day, somebody came for darshan and they brought 40 pounds of rice. And there's this thing constantly here,
That's nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a very generous and very good, generous devotee base you have, which is nice. And
amazing, yeah.
The manpower, like, you said, the volunteers, they step up and then try to do it. And what kind of dishes do you offer? The prasadam, like what is that? Is it like, rice or a curry, or what is that you guys do?
So our Sevak Sharan, you can see him. He's expert at dancing during the arti, and he's wonderful. So he's here. He's a wonderful cook when it comes to dal. So like on Tuesdays for our Tuesday program, he'll eat a different amazing dal every single week, And again, with that concept of simplicity. So it's rarely something that we'll go out and say, okay, we need this. We have to get these ingredients. It's more like, what do we have? What has been brought, and how can we make it of service? So our Sevak Sharanji will create a new, different dal every Tuesday night. But in terms of what is prepared, it's a variety. Sometimes it's curry, sometimes it's tacos, sometimes it's pizza.
Okay, got you. Okay, different. The items on different days. Okay.
Yeah, and it's always very spontaneous. Like whatever is the inspiration in the heart of the cook, that becomes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So depending on his mood on the day, you will get the dish out then. Okay. Very nice. That's good. And sometime you mentioned that you do. They have some flowers in your own garden. So the same way, do you plant some vegetables also, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our two of our devotees, so our Jagovindaji and also our Leaji. Between the two of them, they have a beautiful representation of feminine aspect of gardening. If you see Leaji, she'll be out in the yard. She's got these incredibly long dreadlocks, and she'll be taking seeds and throwing them. And it's a very kind of a beautifully what do they call it? Like a tamed wilderness kind of approach to gardening. Like it's very spontaneous, And then there's our Jagovindaji, and he represents more like the masculine aspect of gardening. Like there'll be rows, things will come in order. So, but we're fortunate to have two devotees who are so committed to utilizing we've got so much sunlight, our soil is beautiful, so it's a good situated place for a lot of growth. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good.
Very nice to hear about the temple activities and your philosophy and also the prasadam. Is there anything special you want to say about your temple? I mean, which is unique or which is special? To your heart and your temple.
Oh gosh, this mandir is just at the center of the heart. So I don't know that I'm sure words would fail. I feel like the expression of it comes sometimes through tears in the kirtan or sometimes through tears in the japa, but through words, you have to forgive me. I don't know if they're, I'm sure I couldn't find them, Yeah.
That's good. Well, I see that, you want to, how are you coping up with the finances in the COVID-19 time? Because, usually in the regular time, devotees come in, and when they come in, as you said, they can donate something or the other. But, most of the time, the fundraising is becoming a challenging now for most of the non-profits right now. And maybe there was some relief from the government from the PPP plan. So how are you? How is your temple is able to cope up with this particular situation right now?
Well, it's been an opportunity to look at how we're embodying simplicity, and then how can we embody simplicity evenly, and to look at how we're approaching the seva, and how can we be more flexible with our seva. So, like I said before, prasadam deliveries, our same people, like our Sevak Sharanji, Vikashji, Anuji, they would still come and then cook for their programs just after the program was finished. Instead of going downstairs to eat together, would all hop into cars and would start delivering prasadam to the people who had requested it. Or, in the case of recently, we had what a beautiful opportunity. We had the opportunity to serve a hospital. So that was
very nice.
400 meals for the staff and for their patients. So the pandemic it's changed things. In a way, it's with the drive-through darshan or with the prasadam aspect, it's created a different opportunity to find ways to still keep that connection that we have between each other. Through Facebook, through the artis were just we'd get together. Whoever was here was a part of the arti, and now whoever's on Facebook is a part of the arti. So this is, that's a beautiful opportunity. And in terms of the resources, for this, we're just in a constant state of surrender to without being naive, bhakti, and knowing that our bhakti doesn't rely on our bank balance. And our bhakti doesn't rely on, we have a building, we don't have a building. But the bhakti will happen, the seva will, the learning will happen. The conditions we're adaptable to,
So you have unconditional belief on the Lord, I mean, along with your unconditional love, which is good. I mean, and then another unique thing I've seen is I've been talking to a few other temples too. I mean, but I mean, you are the only one who was able to, or who were able to do the drive-through darshan and the drive-through prasadam delivery, which is a very nice feature because of your unique location. I mean, your facility has been a drive-through restaurant or a ice cream shop, so you were able to leverage that feature of the property and able to provide this particular service to the devotees, which is very nice. Okay, I mean, do you have any message to your devotee base? Or do you want to do the message later, or do you want to sing the bhajan, or I want to give the message at the end? How do you, whatever way you want to choose?
Oh, I feel like the bhajan probably is the message.
Okay, that will be great. Whenever you are ready, then I'm ready for the bhajan then.
Okay, okay. Shri Radhe.
Beautiful, beautiful Kirtana, bhajan, and very nice. Okay. With Lord Krishna. I mean, do you have any message to convey to the audience or to your devotee base?
Absolutely, absolutely. We encourage 3 practices. To be humble, to speak sweetly, and to engage in the seva together.
Thank you very much for your service and your volunteer service and also your dedication to the community and everybody. Thank you very much. Have a nice, good luck with everything. Thank you.
See you soon. You ready?
Have a nice day.